Andy Paez came to the plate 4 times. All 4 times, by the time he was done, the Dodgers had more runs than they did before he came up. That's all you can hope for. Dodgers dominate the Reds. Great game we're going to talk about for about a half hour. So let's get live on All Dodgers. Hey, what's up, Dodger fans? This is All Dodgers, part of the Bleav Network, a podcast brought to you by FanDuel. I am Jeff Snider, coming at you live from, my mom's basement that I own here in beautiful Pleasant Grove, Utah. It is just me tonight. Clint and Kevin are both off, so I am here to talk about the Dodgers dominating the Cincinnati Reds tonight, 7-0 victory. And the two storylines in this game were Andy Paez and Emmet Sheehan. I don't know which order. I mentioned Paez in the cold open, so maybe I'll start with Sheehan. Emmet Sheehan, 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, looked really, really good. The interesting thing, we were talking about this in the Discord during the game, Sheehan allowed, I forget the number, 14 balls in play, if I remember right. I had it pulled up on my laptop, and now here I am. But I will pull it up right now. I Bleav it was 14 balls in play. Yeah, 12 of them were hard hit. And one of them almost was. You had the only two that weren't hard hit means 95 miles an hour or more off the bat. Then the two that weren't, they had one at 93.5, and then Gavin Lux's flyout was only 76 miles an hour. The other 12 were all hard hit, but none of them were super hard hit. You had, especially the two hardest hit balls were both ground outs or ground balls. One should have been a ground out. The other one was a ground out. The error on what's his name? Freeland, and then a ground out by Ke'Bryan Hayes. And then you only had 2 hard hit balls in the air, 2 balls over 100 miles an hour in the air. So Emmet Sheehan did a really good job of like allowing hard contact, but not super hard. And so that's why we saw a lot of relatively deep flyouts, but none of them were, crazy deep. None of them, like there were some nice plays. Michael Conforto made a nice play. Teoscar Hernandez made a couple nice plays going back, which people seem surprised by that. Teoscar Hernandez, even this year when he's been terrible defensively, has still been pretty good on balls going back. It's coming in and going to his left mostly, where he has struggled a lot. But so the defense definitely helps Sheehan out. But even if you take it mathematically and look at the expected batting averages on the 14 balls in play that he allowed, he probably should have allowed 4 hits instead of 2. 4 hits in 7 innings, especially with only 1 walk. Yeah, we'll take that for sure. And the reason he only had 14 balls in play is because he had 10 strikeouts in those 7 innings. Just a dominant game for Emmet Sheehan. Love to see it. Love to see his defense helping him out. Mookie Betts helped him out too. Immediately after Elly De La Cruz had made a crucial error at the other shortstop. And so kind of underscoring the fact that Mookie Betts this year has been a significantly better defensive shortstop than Elly De La Cruz all year long, and it's not even close. Mookie's been a really good shortstop. As much as people wanted to move, he has turned himself into a very, very good shortstop. He is not going to win the Gold Glove because there are a couple guys, Nick Allen from the what's it called, the Braves, a couple other guys who are even better than Mookie, but Mookie, very good. It's been fun to see. And I know Emmet Sheehan loved it. The great play by Mookie Betts was to finish the 7th inning. Sheehan had just allowed his second hit of the game to start that inning. He bore down. He got 3 outs, got a nice play from Mookie. Just beautiful all around on the part of Sheehan. I do see a super chat in here. I'm going to, I changed my noise and I turned it down a little bit. So I'm hoping that let's see if this works. This is a $1.99 super chat from Noah Martinez. Just a cute little glockenspiel is what they call that. Says, I always knew I liked the Mariners. And yeah, because that kind of underscores the other side of this equation, which is that this wasn't just a good game in Los Angeles, a good night in Los Angeles. This was a great night for the Dodgers all around because the Mariners beat the Padres and the Mets beat the Phillies, which means the Dodgers now are only a game and a half behind the Phillies for the number 2 seed in the National League, which obviously the 2 seed would mean not having to play the wild card round whereas the 3 seed would still have to play. So only a game and a half behind the Phillies for that, with a series against the Phillies coming up. So the Dodgers do have some control of their own destiny there. And the Mariners beat the Padres, which means the Dodgers are now up by a game on the Padres. And as we know, they have the tiebreaker there with the Padres. And so effectively they are up by 2 games for the division, which is huge. Just all in all, this night couldn't have gone better for the Dodgers. And let's go back to Andy Pages. Talk about Andy Pages a little bit more because Pages, first time up, home run off Hunter Green. Great at bat, and during the at bat, Joe Davis mentioned that Pages had homered off of Green in the past, and then Pages homered off him again. Then second time up comes up after a Michael Conforto double. Is that right? Weird. And hit another home run, a 2-run homer to make it 3-0 Dodgers. At that point, that's the only runs the Dodgers had scored. Then Dodgers load the bases with nobody out, and unfortunately, then Alex Freeland. He battled and had a decent at bat, but ended up striking out off Scott Barlow for the first out. And then Michael Conforto'd. There were runners in scoring position. So he said, oh, this is where I get out, right? Yeah, it is. He struck out for the second out. And then Pages hit what should have been the third out. He hit a ground ball right at the shortstop. Should have been the third out. Instead, it went through Ellie De La Cruz's legs. 2 more runs scored. And then later in the game, did I say 7-0 when we started this? I think that's what I said, and I'm just realizing, was that the final score? I guess it was 7-0. Was that the final? Okay, yeah. I was worried I'd forgotten a run because at that point it's 5-0, and then Mookie Betts homer to make 6-0, and then later Pages came up with second and third and hit another deep fly ball. It was caught, but it was a sacrifice fly. So all 4 times that Pages came up, runs scored. You'll take that every night for sure. And Andy Pages looked comfortable, looked really good. For all the talk about him struggling against right-handed pitching, which he really did last year, this year it has been mostly a non-factor. He's had his slumps, but it's rarely been because of platoon splits. It's just he's a second-year player. They have their slumps sometimes, but Andy Pages, great night tonight. It was really, really fun to watch. Let's take a look at some FanDuel odds here, just because, that's what we do here. FanDuel is our sponsor here. And now that we've had a little time since this game ended, the odds for the division are starting to shake out. You remember last night, 2 nights ago, it was down to -120 for the Dodgers, -115 for the Padres, almost neck and neck. After the Dodgers won last night, they bumped back up to -175. After this, it's all the way back up to -260. The Dodgers are back to being heavy favorites to win the division, even though it's only a 1-game lead right now. As we mentioned last night, both teams have relatively easy schedules going forward, and the Dodgers have the tiebreaker. So, the Dodgers control their own destiny, and you can see that in the betting odds for sure. So that's a lot of fun. Last night's game, we also mentioned, or last night we mentioned that tonight's game, even with Hunter Green against Emmet Sheehan, the Dodgers were favored to win that game. And what we saw tonight is why. This felt really, really good from a Dodgers standpoint to see them dominate a really good starting pitcher. Hunter Green only allowed 3 earned runs in 5 innings, which isn't terrible, but they got his pitch count up so that he only made it through 5 innings. He pitched to a couple batters in the 6th inning, but didn't get any outs. So 5 innings and then out of the game. The Padres have a solid bullpen, not as good as the Padres, obviously, but a solid bullpen. But getting into the bullpen that early in the series is a big deal. Getting Hunter Green out of that game. Just the offense really did their job of working counts. Alex Freeland had some great at-bats. Did he have anything to show for it tonight? I don't remember if Freeland even got a hit. I should have had the box score up, but I've got a phone. I'm going to pull up the box score while I'm talking because they call me multitasking Jeff. Because I sometimes multitask. I'm also, by the way, I'm fat guy number 1 tonight because Clint ain't here. And when he ain't here, I get promoted. So, Freeland tonight, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, but some really good at bats, honestly. And it was the one where he struck out with the bases loaded. It was kind of a rookie at bat. You could see Joe and Nomar were kind of harping on the 2-0 pitch that he took. That was kind of right down the middle. I really liked that take because Teo, the batter before, the first batter that Barlow had faced, Barlow threw 5 pitches to Teo, and none of them were very close to the strike zone. And then the first 2 to Freeland were balls. So at that point, he's thrown 7 pitches and none of them in the strike zone. I'm a big fan of making him throw you a strike. So he gets that strike. The big issue was then the next pitch, he swung at ball 3. And so instead of 3-1, he's in a 2-2 count. That was what changed the at-bat there. But, against Hunter Green, Freeland put up long at-bats, made him throw pitches, and the whole team was doing that. And you look at Hunter Green's line overall, only 3 strikeouts in his 5 innings. He walked 2, he gave up 6 hits. The Dodgers just made him work, and he threw 99 pitches in 5+ innings. Can't go wrong there. And so to see that with, kind of the Dodgers really struggled against the Padres starting pitching this weekend, including some guys who maybe aren't all-stars anymore. I got a lot of flack from fans of which team for saying the phrase Nestor Cortez is bad the other night. I was just basing it on the fact that statistically he's bad, hashtag math baby. But I got some flack. So I'll just say Nestor Cortez is no longer an all-star. And the Dodgers really struggled against him. As we mentioned last night, the Dodgers only had 4 hits total this weekend against the Padres' 3 starters. So to see them come out and face, honestly, a better starter than they saw in San Diego this weekend. Hunter Green is better than any of the 3 guys who started for the Padres this weekend. And the Dodgers knocked him around, made him work, and got him out of the game. It kind of makes me feel even more like maybe the series in San Diego had some sort of Colorado hangover, not as an excuse, just as an explanation of maybe why the bats were, because that happens. Teams get a hangover coming back to elevation or to sea level. That's the phrase. It's 2 words, unless we're using it as a prenominal adjective, then it would be hyphenated. So it would only be 1 word, but either way, coming back to sea level after being in Colorado can affect the bats, but Dodgers bats showed up tonight and that was nice. Got a couple more super chats that I'm going to jump into. I'm trying to keep my eye on the chat as well as I can tonight, guys. When I'm solo, it is hard to do it all at once. But let's see. We have a super chat from Nicole Taylor. Glockenspiel. Teo's defense wasn't anemic. Hope springs eternal. And like I said, Teo's defense on balls going back has been pretty good all year. He had 1 notable misplay this year on a ball going back, but even that one, he got to it, just hit him in the glove and he didn't catch it. So his range going back is good. And actually that's why last year his defensive numbers were much better in right field than in left field. It was because of a fluke of the fact that he played less time in right field and there happened to be more balls hit over his head that he was good at going back on. And that was a lot of the difference. So the problem this year has been we've seen too many balls hit in front of him and to his left that he has struggled to get to. But the balls today, those are plays you expect Teo to make even when he's having a bad defensive year. But it was nice to see him make them for sure. A super chat from Francisco Diaz. Always appreciate his super chats. This one is $9.99. Finally feels good to send a super chat with positivity. Sheehan shoved. Pa has found the seat twice. Mookie did as well. And even Conforto had a home run robbery and a double. Also shout out to the Mariners. Yeah. It wasn't a home run robbery that Conforto had. It was a nice play going back. It would have been a double. It would have been off the wall, but very nice play. I would be interested to see. It's one of those things where I've kind of lost my frame of reference with the Dodgers corner outfielders to know how good a play is, just because we see the end of the play. And they used to talk about, who was it? It might have been, I can't remember now. There was some elite defensive center fielder in the last decade who never dove for a ball because he never needed to. He just got to everything. And then there's other guys who you see them diving all the time, but they're not necessarily as good at defenders because the jump matters so much. And that's one thing that they've just started measuring in the last few years is an outfielder's jump on fly balls, where how quickly do you get moving? And like there are guys who are moving the right direction even before the ball is hit. Sometimes you know what pitch is coming. You see the swing. Some guys are so good that they're reading the swing before the bat even makes contact with the ball. But the best ones are definitely getting a good jump. And I haven't seen the high home angle of that Conforto play to know how good a play that was. I would be interested to see the catch probability on that. That's not publicly available information, unfortunately. But it looked like a nice catch to me. And so I was happy to see it for sure, because Conforto hasn't been as bad as Teo defensively this year, but he's definitely had his struggles out there in left field. So for sure, happy to see that. Scott Holland, $4.99 super chat, says, I'm glad Mookie can hold on to a baseball better than an iPad. Apparently go to the 33-minute mark of his podcast with Will Smith for reference. I haven't had a chance to watch that one yet. But apparently Mookie drops an iPad. So that's always fun. My kids, when they were younger, probably, I would guess my older son was 4 and my daughter was 6, somewhere in that ballpark. Maybe 6 and 8, somewhere around there. Anyway, they were playing down here in the basement and doing something with the iPad. And my son dropped the iPad on my daughter's face and actually broke her tooth. And so that's what I think of when dropping an iPad. So hopefully Mookie didn't drop it on his face. That's something that's harder to do when you're an adult than when you're a child. Mookie played great defense. Even the one that he bobbled, took a funky hop on him, and he recognized it's the catcher running. I have time, make a good throw, got the job done. Happy to see that. One more super chat so far. This one, another one from Noah Martinez, $1.99. Hope tonight doesn't mean they're getting 1 run next game. And yeah, you know what? It doesn't necessarily work that way, but you would hope. Who's pitching tomorrow for the Reds? It is Nick Martinez, who has had some success this year. I know he pitched against the Dodgers. I know he almost had a no-hitter against some other team earlier this year. I watched the end of that game because he had a no-hitter going. But against the Dodgers last month, he went 6 innings and allowed 2 runs. Hopefully the Dodgers can get to him more than that. He has been mostly solid this year, at least recently. He started off really badly to the point where I know Reds fans were clamoring for him to be out of the rotation, and he actually was out of the rotation for a little while. But since giving up 10 runs to the Marlins on July 8th, since then he's only allowed more than 2 runs one time in his 8 starts. And he has a 3.89 ERA in that time. So not a world beater, but he's been solid the last month and a half. And so but he's not as good as Hunter Green. So hopefully this Dodgers team that showed up against Hunter Green tonight can show up against Nick Martinez tomorrow. Martinez also has only gone over 100 pitches once in the last 2 months. And so, the Dodgers, they can work that pitch count, hopefully get him out of the game early too, and hopefully with some runs on the board. Because like Noah said, nobody wants to see them follow up this great offensive game with a bad offensive game tomorrow. The funny thing is, this was a very fun game for sure, but Elly De La Cruz's 2-run error is what made it a blowout. It was only 3-0 at that point. And still, the way Sheehan was pitching, and obviously the Reds ended up scoring 0 runs. So 3 ended up being enough, but we didn't really know that at the time. And getting bases loaded with nobody out and then back-to-back strikeouts, it would have been a little deflating if Elly had made that play and gotten the out at first base to end the inning. Bases loaded, nobody out. You need to score at least 1 run, ideally a couple. And the Dodgers did end up scoring 2 runs, but only because of Elly De La Cruz's error. And so that did it. And then after that, like I said, Mookie did homer and Pages did drive in another run. And so they put up 5 runs, even not counting Elly's error, but it was the error that kind of turned it into a really good offensive game for the Dodgers. Just kind of trying to look at the chat here. Court the Crusader says, I'm looking for the Dodgers to sweep because the Reds haven't been swept at all this year. Joe Davis mentioned it again. The Reds are the only team in baseball that hasn't been swept yet this year. And so, it would be fun if the Dodgers could sweep them for a lot of reasons. Matty Man Dodge says they tried really hard not to score in that inning. Pages saved it. I'd say Elly De La Cruz saved it. That was honestly, I love Elly. I think he's good for baseball. He's exciting, all of that. That was one of the worst errors I've seen a major league shortstop make in a long time, because that was a ground ball just right at him, right through his legs. That was a play that if your little leaguer made that play, you'd be like, oh my gosh, kid, it doesn't get easier than that, especially because this isn't even a little league field where you can't trust getting a good hop. This is the Dodger Stadium infield. The ball's right to you. You got to make that play. But I'm glad he didn't, because that made it fun. Let's see. Oh, Evan G is here. I'm not gonna put his comment in the on the board because he doesn't deserve it. I am proud of him for commenting something different than what he's been doing the last several games. I also really want to tell Evan G, I appreciate your commitment. You know, like I barely have enough time to focus time and energy on the team that I love. For you to focus so much time and energy on the team that you hate, like, I mean, hats off to you, bro. I am so impressed with what you don't have going on in life. So, you know, your numbers count too. So thanks for being here. Let's see. And Matty Man, it says, but at least Pa has put the ball in play. No one else did. Yeah. And you know, if anybody else had done that, you know, it probably scores a run. Even if, you know, Freeland hits a ground ball, they probably turn a double play, but still get a run there. But, you know, with 2 outs, there is no difference between a ground out and a strikeout, except for the fact that sometimes the ground out goes through Ellie De La Cruz's legs. So that was the one time in 100 where it does matter whether you ground out or strike out with 2 outs, because sometimes, yeah, putting the ball in play is definitely good. Let's see. I am going to talk a little bit more about the fact that, like I said, it was a good night around the league. The Mets pounded the Phillies. What was the score? It was 11-3 or something. And so that brings the Dodgers within a game and a half of them, which is really nice. The Padres and the Phillies at this point are the only 2 teams that we as Dodger fans are doing any scoreboard watching on, because everything else, like, chances are, if the Brewers go on a cold streak, because right now the Brewers are 7 games ahead of the Dodgers for the 1 seed. If the Brewers happen to go on a cold streak, then yeah, we'll start looking at, okay, well, Dodgers maybe have a chance at the 1 seed. Honestly, the 1 seed or the 2 seed isn't that big a deal. It determines home field advantage in the NLCS, which could matter, but it's not the end of the world. Getting the bye is the most important thing and the most realistic thing. So the Phillies there, and obviously winning the division is very important. Even if you don't get the first round bye, if you win the division, you guarantee yourself playing the wild card series at home, which is important. All of that. So Padres and Phillies are the 2 teams that we're scoreboard watching on, and both of them lost tonight. The Mariners beat the Padres 9-6, put up a 5. It was 4-4. They were down 4-1. Padres hit 3 home runs in 1 inning to go up 4-1, and then the Mariners battled back, tied it, and then scored 5 runs in the 5th or 6th inning to go up 9-4. Allowed a couple runs, 1 in the 9th inning. But you know, the game was never really in danger. Game ended on a strikeout by this guy and his chicken legs. So that was good to see. I always enjoy the team that the Dodgers are battling for the division title losing a game. The Giants, I don't know what they did. Looks like they won, but like they don't even matter anymore. They're in 4th place. The D-backs lost. D-backs have lost 2 in a row, so they've almost fallen back out of 3rd place. But ultimately, it's Phillies and Padres. And if you were drawing up tonight, you'd say, what do we want tonight as Dodger fans? Well, we want a Dodgers win, and we want losses from the Phillies and Padres. And that's exactly what we got. Now, hopefully, do it again tomorrow. As I mentioned, tomorrow it is Nick Martinez against Clayton Kershaw. The Dodgers are favored on FanDuel in that game. It is currently minus 188 for the Dodgers to win that game over on FanDuel. And a lot of this Reds offense is not great. It's not a terrible offense, but they get by on the strength of their pitching. And so for the Dodgers to do this to the Reds ace tonight was very nice, and hopefully they can do it to Nick Martinez. Obviously, the betting odds on FanDuel believe that they will. While we're here on FanDuel, let's go ahead and look at the awards chase. There was an article today on MLB.com saying that Kyle Schwarber had passed Shohei Ohtani in the MVP race. Guess what? The betting odds do not think so. FanDuel has Ohtani at minus 10,000 and Kyle Schwarber at plus 1,600. If you don't understand betting odds, just what that means is if you bet $10,000 on Shohei Ohtani to win, you would get, and he did, you would get your $10,000 back plus $100. Not a lot of return on investment there. Now, if you bet $100 on Schwarber to win, you would get your $100 back plus $1,600. That's what those odds mean. And so, Shohei Ohtani is still by far the favorite to win the MVP award. He didn't do anything in tonight's game, almost literally, right? He had one walk, 0 for 3 with a walk. Didn't strike out. Dodgers only struck out 8 times tonight, which was nice. 2 of those were, of course, back-to-back with the bases loaded when you really don't want to strike out. But all in all, the Dodgers did okay putting the bat on the ball tonight. Just going to glance at the chat, see what else we got. Cole mentioned we also want Milwaukee to lose. If they can lose enough, then I'm not going to be watching the Brewers scoreboard because, it's still far enough away. It's kind of funny. I saw something today about the Mets and the Phillies starting a pivotal series, and yet the Mets are 7 games behind the Phillies in the. I guess it's 6 games now because the Mets won. But it's pivotal for the Mets because they're battling for that last wild card spot. But no more pivotal because it's against the Phillies because the Mets aren't going to win the East. So, and that's kind of how I feel about the Dodgers getting the 1 seed right now. It's not close enough for me to think about it much. Just looking at the chat, see if there's anything else I need to pop in. Mark Noah Sotelo says, I'm sure that one hit bought Conforto another month of playing time. That seems to be the way it works here in Bizarro World. It's actually, he had 2 hits, a single and a double. They did give him a double on that second one. Should have been a single and error on the second one, but they gave him a double. And so 2 doubles for Conforto. Yeah, I mean, now he's 2 for his last 23 or something. Conforto was going to play for another week at least anyway against right-handed pitching. He's going to be starting as long as he's on the roster for the most part. He's going to be on the roster at least until Max Muncy comes back. I did realize after yesterday's episode that we didn't, when Clint and I were talking about the roster decisions that are coming up, we didn't give enough attention to the fact that rosters do expand in September. They can add 1 more position player and 1 more pitcher. Technically, they could add 2 position players and no pitchers, but you can't add 2 pitchers, but no more than 1 pitcher. And so probably 1 position player, 1 pitcher. And so that could mean that Conforto lasts a little bit longer. I'm holding out hope that the Dodgers will reward Ryan Ward's great season with a September call-up. I don't know if that's likely or not. But we might see Conforto stick around, but honestly, here's my opinion on Conforto. Everything that we see as fans, the Dodgers front office is seeing. And they're at least as smart as we are. And that's putting it mildly. They know that Conforto has been terrible this year. And one of the things I was saying on the radio today, Michael Conforto, there were stretches this year when you could make a very good case that he was being unlucky. He was hitting the ball hard, but right at people. And that's why he was struggling. Like for a couple weeks at a time, a couple times, you say, wow, this has been a really unlucky time for Michael Conforto. The last month and a half, 2 months though, there's been some bad luck, but even with that, even if he had neutral luck or even good luck, he still would have been bad. And that's something that everyone is aware of, including the people making the decisions. Right now, there's just nobody pressing. I don't know why the Dodgers don't believe in Ryan Ward, but I'm sure it has something to do with the fact that he's 28 years old, having, like in AAA. He's the kind of guy who hasn't made it to the big leagues by age 28. He's probably not going to contribute to a team that wants to win the World Series. Now, would he have played better than Michael Conforto? Almost definitely. Yeah. But, the Dodgers are thinking long-term. And so it's like, do you really get Ryan Ward into a role that he's not going to be playing in the postseason? Because by the time you get to the postseason, you're going to have better players healthy. And so, Michael Conforto is not going to be in the postseason lineup unless we have several more injuries or guys not coming back from injury. Right now, he's still going to play while he's on the roster. And it's going to be annoying. But the good news is every once in a while, he will actually do something. And every once in a while, the Dodgers will score a bunch of runs even when he doesn't do anything. We've seen both of those things lately. And one guy can't kill a lineup. And the Dodgers having real players come back. Buddy Kennedy is gone. He was DFA'd today when the Dodgers activated Kike Hernandez, just like we said he would be. And so, we are slowly but surely getting to the point where there will only be major league players on this roster. And when we get to that point, it won't include Michael Conforto anymore, regardless of the fact that he had a double and a pretend double tonight. That's sorry, just trying to scroll the chat. You guys know. I know. I'm sorry. I'm not very good at multitasking in that way. But yeah, GI mentioned something about Ryan Ward. Says he's also been Rule 5 eligible, so everyone's had free shots at him. It's not just the LA front office that doesn't hold him in very high regard. Yeah, whatever it is, whether it's the defense or something about the swing, because as we've mentioned many times, there are plenty of guys in AAA who have raked for Oklahoma City and then come to the Dodgers and turned out to not be major league hitters. And maybe the Dodgers think they've identified a type of player who that applies to, and they think Ryan Ward's one of those. Again, that's just a guess. But for whatever reason, they didn't call up Ryan Ward when Michael Conforto has been terrible all year, so they're probably not going to call him up unless it is just to say, you know what, you've earned this. You deserve to make your major league debut in the best uniform in baseball before you get non-tendered after this season and go play for someone else. They may reward him, but if so, it won't be because of Conforto. Conforto will lose his job when Muncy comes back, and Edman comes back. So now they have a lot of outfield options that are better than Conforto on the big league roster. Right now, they don't really. The other outfielder is Justin Dean, and he would not be an offensive upgrade. He'd definitely be a defensive upgrade. And I am totally in favor of going Justin Dean in center, Teo in right, or Teo in left, Pages in right, and just say, forget the offense, we're going defense, since Conforto's not providing offense anyway. But I don't think they're going to do that. So that's where we stand on Conforto. Mark says the bar is so low that Conforto has set, though. Yeah, he set the bar very low, and whatever the Dodgers get from whoever replaces him will be an improvement. Tian Jiang asks where Kike will play the next 2 games. It'll be interesting to see what the Dodgers kind of have in mind for Kike. I believe Nick Lodolo pitches on Wednesday, and I also believe that Nick Lodolo is left-handed. He's a lefty. So Kike will definitely be in the lineup on Wednesday against Lodolo. Probably at third base would be my guess. The interesting question will be, will it be Rojas or Rojas or Freeland at second base there? So we might see that, or we could see Kike in left field and Conforto on the bench, and have Freeland and Rojas both starting in the infield. That Wednesday will be an interesting one to see for sure, with the lefty on the mound for the Reds. Tomorrow with Nick Martinez, I kind of feel like Martinez might be a guy with reverse splits, but I don't remember that for sure. Let's see. Splits, not reverse splits, but not pronounced splits. He's a little bit better against lefties. Wait. Oh yeah, so it is a little bit of reverse splits. Righties hit Martinez a little bit better, but not noticeably better. And so Dodgers probably won't make any decisions based on Martinez's splits. They'll base them on their own splits and all of that. Cole says Dave said he's playing left. Oh, interesting. Cole says Dave said Kike's playing in left. Oh, Donnie Boy said Kike said that he's starting in left tomorrow. Obviously, one of the downsides of going live right after the game is that I don't get to see stuff after the game, interviews and everything. Maybe that came out before the game. Takata also says they said on TV he's playing left field. So yeah, I must have missed that. I had friends over tonight, so I had the game on, but I wasn't paying attention to the audio of the broadcast very much. I'm not a huge fan of tonight's color commentator. I like Nomar a lot as a person and as a player and a lot of things. I even don't mind some of the things he says. His voice just is too much, trying to lull me to sleep. So but yeah, it will be interesting to see if they have Kike in the lineup tomorrow in left field against a right-handed pitcher. That'll tell us a little bit of something about what they're thinking about Conforto for sure. Let's see. No more super chats yet. Court says the Dodgers could knock Martinez out by the 3rd inning. That's what I'm hoping for. Get to this bullpen even more, because that sets up even more good stuff for Wednesday's game. With, the more you can see the Reds bullpen in the first two games of the series, the better chance you have of doing well in the last game of the series. It's just how it works, and that's going to be their best chance to get through, to get a sweep, which nobody has done against the Reds this year. So Cole says they announced during the game the next two games and left for Kike. Great. I'm excited to see that. And then, for a lot of reasons, but that's what was, one of the good things, one of the ways to get Michael Conforto out of this lineup is to put Kike in left. I'd still ultimately at some point like to see Pages in right field, because that's the best version of the defense, which would mean Teo in left field, unless Teo continues to not hit, but having options is good, and Kike in left field the next 2 days will be nice. Richie Flores in the chat says, how long before Muncy comes back? Thanks for not ignoring me tonight. Thanks for asking a good question for once, Richie. Just kidding. They're saying Muncy could go on a rehab assignment this week and could be back next week, during the next road trip. We could be like a week away from Muncy coming back, maybe a little over a week. It's weird with oblique injuries. We should be used to it, because oblique injuries are notoriously impossible to know how long you're going to be out, but we've just kind of gotten used to them taking longer to heal than we expect. So somebody coming back from an oblique injury more quickly than we expect doesn't make sense. But Muncy, he's got, I don't know if it's like a Vampire Diaries thing where he's healing because somebody's feeding him vampire blood, or if it's a Harry Potter thing with, the abracadabra wand stuff, or, what other nerdy stuff can I talk about that heals people? I can't think of anything else. Sorry. But whatever it is, Max Muncy's on it. Maybe got bit by a radioactive spider, all sorts of options. But whatever it is, Max Muncy seems to be a quick healer this year. And that's good, because this Dodgers lineup, think about it. Max Muncy's spot would have come up with bases loaded and nobody out today, probably, if he had been in the lineup. That would have been fun. And maybe the Dodgers score even more than 7 runs. Having Muncy in this lineup will always be a good thing. So I am excited for whenever he comes back. Court the Crusader says Muncy will be back the first week of September. That's my medical opinion. And the cool thing is that's next week. We're at August 25th right now. Next week is the first week of September. And so I can't wait till he comes back. Cole says Conforto hit because he knows Kike is coming for his job. Some of that probably. And just scrolling. So hopefully there wasn't a Richie comment in there that I'm ignoring, and just doing my best, folks. Court says Muncy's been through the oblique injury last year. He knows how to heal faster from it. Last year's was weird because I think he healed from the oblique injury much more quickly than he healed from whatever it was after that. Whether it was scar tissue or whatever. A chiropractor ended up helping with something. Some people think a rib was out of place. Some people think it was scar tissue, whatever it was. That one took a while. And that's kind of why we expected Muncy to take a while to come back this year, because the oblique last year took forever for Muncy to come back. So Jenny's got a good point in the chat. Join the Discord, folks. I'm going to pop that up on here. Patreon.com/RealFRG. You can join our Discord server for just $5 a month. It's a lot of fun. We're talking Dodgers. I had to quit the app when I was starting, because one thing when I do a solo episode, I take the opportunity to not have to put my headphones on, because they're really not comfortable. And since I don't have to hear anybody, I don't have to wear headphones. But that means that I couldn't have Discord open, because Discord pops off, and having those constant Discord notifications in the background might have driven you guys crazy, like it drives my wife crazy when I accidentally leave my laptop open in the living room. That's how much action there is on the Discord. So check that out. It's a lot of fun talking Dodgers there. Nicole says, Jeff is saying Max Muncy shares Wolverine's genetics. I haven't seen an X-Men. I saw the first one in the theater with my wife, I think when we were engaged. Would that sound right? We got married in 2003. That'd be about when the first X-Men movie came out. I've never seen any of the standalone Wolverine movies. I do have a son named Logan, and I understand that's the Greatest Showman's name in Wolverine. I I do remember now he has some sort of super healing skills, vibranium or titanium or aluminum or something. I don't know. JRM asks if Muncy will have a rehab stint in Oklahoma City. Yeah, and that'll probably start this week. Later this week, probably go down there. And again, we'll have to see how he does when he's actually hitting in live games. I'm worried about a setback for Muncy. I'm excited for him to come back, but I'm kind of cautiously optimistic at this point. And Jenny Vega mentions Tommy Edman is also coming back soon. Yeah, we don't know exactly when for Tommy. They're still saying early September. And like I said, early September is next week. It doesn't seem like Tommy's coming back next week, but he was hitting on the field today. They say that the running is still taking some time. Their goal is for him to be ready to play center field when he comes back from an ankle standpoint. And so they're taking their time. And honestly, I think the ankle affected Tommy's hitting this year too. And so getting him back fully healthy and enough time to get ready for the postseason is the most important thing. And so that's what they're going to do. That's what they're trying to do. Ray Barsemian says, hey guys, sup, Ray. Dodgers back in first place, where I predict they will stay the rest of the season. Hey, from your lips to the Dodgers' ears, I hope, Ray. I would love to see them kind of pull away a little bit and do a little bit better. Just run away with this thing, Dodgers. Court the Crusader says, Dodgers number one. Love it. Thanks, Jeff. Great show, my man. I am officially Court's man. Thank you very much. And we weren't sure. Last night, Clint and I had talked about doing a show together tonight after the game. And then Clint had stuff, real life stuff come up tonight. And it's like, well, I could do a solo show. And solo shows, honestly, they are not as much fun to do because you do have to kind of push the buttons and read the chat and all that stuff. But we were talking in the Discord. This is a fun game to talk about, a fun night to talk about because everything went right for the Dodgers. And so that's why we're here. And we're happy to be here talking Dodgers. It's always fun doing that. I think that's it. Just a good night for the Dodgers. Good night for Dodger fans. I could really go for a winning streak. The Dodgers haven't had a lengthy winning streak in a while, it feels like. I wonder how accurate that is. When's the last time the Dodgers won 5 games in a row? Let's see. Real time, looking at Baseball Reference, looking for a long winning streak, and we are going way back there to June 27th. The Dodgers swept. They won the last game against the Nationals, and then swept the Rockies, and then won the first game in Kansas City for a 5-game winning streak. That's the last time they did it. They had another 5-game winning streak earlier in June. That's the only, and then they had one end of April into May. They had looks like a 7-game winning streak. And then obviously to start the season, they had that 8-game winning streak to start the season. That's the only 4 times this year the Dodgers have won 5 games in a row. I could go for a nice 5-game winning streak right now. We're 2 games in a winning streak. Let's get to 5 and then let's keep going. Obviously they've got 2 more with the Reds, then 3 with the D-backs, who are not the team that they were. They have moved into 3rd place, but they also sold at the trade deadline. Dodgers should be able to beat them. Pirates obviously aren't a good team. Dodgers will face Paul Skeens in one of those games, but as we know, Paul Skeens doesn't win a lot of the games he starts, even though he pitches really well. So it may be a low-scoring win for the Dodgers. And then they've got 3 games against the Orioles, who are bad, 3 against the Rockies, who are bad, 3 against the Giants, who are mediocre. And they've had, some guys have turned it on lately. And, the Giants will be motivated. But then that wraps up. It's not till September 15th that the Dodgers play a good team again. And that's the Phillies. 3-game series in LA against the Phillies, which will have playoff implications in a lot of different ways. That'll be a fun series. Between now and then, the Dodgers should be able to win some games. Padres have an easy schedule too. We'll need some help, but the Dodgers can do their part. Just win all the games. You'll gain some ground. You definitely won't lose ground when you're winning. That's how math works, baby. That's going to do it for me. Thank you all for being here. Good group here tonight. Fun solo show. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the mods for being the eyes on there. I think it was a relatively easy night for the mods, only a couple people being obnoxious. So I appreciate you guys being there. If you're watching this live, hit the comments section down below. In addition to the live chat, obviously comments stay forever. They encourage conversation after the fact. If you're watching this later, definitely hit the comment section. If you're listening on the podcast, totally appreciate you. Hey, hop into the YouTube version and throw some comments there too. You don't have to watch it on YouTube just to comment there. But once you're there, you might as well just hit play, even if you turn the volume down and work or whatever. Numbers, baby. Also, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. Remember, patreon.com/realfrg. For $5 a month, you can get access to the Discord server. We are doing on Thursday a members-only live stream where we'll be talking Dodgers, but also just whatever our members want to talk about. We'll also be talking about a new strategy we're rolling out for voicemail shows going forward. A lot of fun stuff. So be sure to get into the Discord by going to patreon.com/realfrg or joining at the $5 level here on YouTube. Either way, you'll get access to the Discord server. So check that out. That's going to do it for me. Thank you all for being here with me. Love talking Dodgers with you. Good job, Dodgers. Good job, Mariners. Good job, Mets. Keep it up, all of you. And we will talk to you, later. Bye.